human nature that everybody establishes preferences, likes and dislikes. We like this thing, we don't like this thing, which is fine. That's human nature. But, when you're trying to be a critic, a respectable, impartial critic, shut up, I am, you try your best to keep things neutral, and that doesn't always work. There are always going to be things that you really like, and there's going to be things that just don't work for you. One thing that several people have noticed about the years I've been doing drive home reviews is that I have never reviewed a Pixar movie. And I've mentioned this several times throughout the course of this series, but the reason for that being is I am just not a fan of Pixar. I'm just not. It's not that I hate Pixar. This isn't a James Cameron situation. It's that I just don't care. I thought Monsters, Inc. was really good. Monsters, Inc. is like the only one of their movies I think is like really, really great. Mainly because it reminds me of an Abbott and Costello movie. So I think that's pretty much the reason for that. And I liked a lot of the visual style and Samuel L. Jackson in the original Incredibles. At the time, that was the best comic book movie we could hope for. Although I want to smack Dash just every fucking time he's on screen. I just want to smack that little bastard. However, I digress. But the point is that those are kind of the exceptions. Generally, I just don't connect with them. And there have been a lot of theories about this. I had someone tell me it's because I like to be contrary. I like to always not like what everybody else likes, so I feel like the smartest guy in the room. And my response to that was, that sounds like a good theory, but the problem with that is how would you feel if everybody in the world was watching something and connecting with it and going, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever, and you're the one person sitting there going, this just isn't touching me. It's just not working. That doesn't make you feel smarter. It makes you feel more isolated. But generally, I just have not reviewed Pixar movies just because I know that they're not my cup of tea. And I feel like if I was going to go see one, I'd be going in with a bias. And I wouldn't be giving the movie a fair shake. So I generally avoid Pixar movies. But it's interesting the way the stars will kind of line up, and sometimes things happen that you didn't expect. For instance, being on a plane ride and seeing the small child in front of you who had the little Delta screen thing going and was watching Luca. And without kind of realizing it, you're looking at the images and kind of going, well, this looks kind of fascinating. And so on your second plane ride, you decide, what the hell, I've paid for the ticket, it's not costing me anything extra, let's see what all the fuss is about. And much to my surprise, I ended up really enjoying this little movie. It was actually really entertaining and enjoyable. And I have always prided myself on being able to admit when I was wrong. And in this instance, I don't know if I was necessarily wrong, but it definitely proves that why you should give things a chance every so often, because every now and then something will surprise you. And I genuinely had a good time watching this little film. And I think the question to ask is, okay, why this film and not some of the other Pixar movies? What did this film do differently that worked for me, whereas the others did not? And I honestly believe that it's a very simple explanation, and the explanation is that it's simple. One of the things I've always had kind of an issue with Pixar movies, and where they and I don't connect, is that I feel like they are just trying way too hard. They had this reputation of being the deep, intellectual, thinking person's animated. These have deep characters and are dealing with deep psychological problems and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it just feels like they're pushing it down my damn throat. It's kind of like, the best way I can equate it is I remember everyone going, oh, the first 10 minutes of Up. Oh, that first 10 minutes of Up. It just destroyed me. And I watched the first 10 minutes of Up and I just went, okay. Because I felt like the whole reason they were doing it is like someone was slamming a picture into my face going, cry! Cry at the sad thing! You cry! And when someone does that, when somebody tries so hard to get me to cry, I just immediately go, I'm not going to do it. I cry more at things that catch you off guard than something that is trying to make you cry. And I feel that's kind of a thing with a lot of Pixar movies. They have their reputation. The critics love them. No matter what they do, they're going to get their ass kissed. So it just feels like, they know their reputation and they really steer into the skid. And it feels, feels forced to me. But why this movie works, in my opinion, is because it is just dirt simple. This is not a film that is trying to redefine anything or trying to show us the deeper innocence of childhood or, the pain of this or about environmentalism. It's not trying to do anything. It's a story, essentially. You break it down, it's a movie about 3 kids having fun on summer vacation. That's it. It is a movie about 3 kids having fun during a summer vacation. 2 of them happen to be underwater sea creatures that turn human when they come out of the water. I mean, everything about this movie is tailor-made for someone like me. And it brings back a lot of fond memories of a lot of lost summers. Of just me and my friends just running around, having adventures, trying to build things out of, old lawn chairs, making forts, collecting garbage that we found on the street that we felt were great treasures. Even things like the all is lost moments.
The all is lost moment!
In this, where the characters have falling out, feels just very organic. They have falling outs for the reasons kids have falling outs at that age. You start to hang out with one friend more than another friend, and the other one gets jealous. You and one friend had mutual dreams of what you wanted to do, but as you grow up, you find that your interests vary and change, and maybe they don't line up the way that they used to. And suddenly there's where at one point you were on the same page, now all of a sudden you seem like years apart. Just feeling left out sometimes. These are all things that happen in groups of friends with kids, in real life, and everything that these characters go through is just very natural. I really don't feel that this movie is trying to have the deeper meanings that the other ones are. It's just trying to tell you a fun little story about 3 kids and having fun on summer vacation. And so simplicity really works in its favor. And the other thing that works in its favor is the 3 characters, our 3 main characters, Luca, Alberto, and Ginny, I think is the other one. I can't remember her name, the girl. Harry, Ron, and Hermione, essentially, are just really lovable, fun characters. These are characters you want to hang out with. These are characters you want to be around. They're not overly obnoxious. They're not so precious it's unbelievable. They really feel, in the writing and especially in the acting, the voice performances of these 3 kids is remarkable, in my opinion. You really feel like they're real people. I was talking with Rebecca. She watched this with me. We watched it with Rivi and CJ later in the week. And she was saying, it's good, but I don't think it's one I'd go out of my way to watch again. And I don't know if I'd ever go out of my way to watch it, but I definitely think this is one I would watch again for the same reason I would probably rewatch Finding You, is that this feels just like a quiet, fun little movie of 3 really great, enjoyable characters. And sometimes you like doing that. You like revisiting old friends, you know? And everything about this movie is simplistic. The Honest Trailers made this joke long before I did, but it bears repeating. The villain of the piece doesn't have some kind of tragic backstory or any kind of sympathetic motivation. He's just a pompous bully. The kind of pompous bully groups of kids encounter during summer vacation. You know? Jenny's dad is missing an arm. And there is no big backstory to it. There's no long monologue about how he lost his arm and everything. No, he just says, this is how I came into the world. Tying in with the themes of kind of liking who you are that runs through this, of, you know, the boys, the sea creatures learning who they are and asserting themselves and everything like that. I really like that. Even the message is very simple in this one. At least the primary message. And we'll talk about the flaws of this here in a second, but the primary message of this one is a line at the very end, and I really like it, with Luca's parents, where, surprise, surprise, spoiler alert, they accept him and let him live on the surface if he wants to, and blah, blah, blah. But they say that, you know, not everybody is going to accept him, but he seems to have found the people that will. And I think that is a really important lesson. That's a really important lesson for every kid in the world. Now, obviously, this film is, you know, coded heavily in the direction of, you know, kids of different races, different religions. You know, it also works as a, you know, a coming out metaphor. But I also think it's just a general good lesson for every kid. I was bullied a lot as a kid. And the first step towards kind of getting past that, getting past the bullying, is when you kind of realize that just not everybody you meet is gonna like you. You know? And not everybody you meet is going to give you their stamp of approval. So you need to make the decision for yourself, you know, what's more important? The opinion of these people who clearly don't like you, or the opinion of people who do. So I feel that that is a very important message that kids really need to learn. You don't see that a lot in these films that talk about bullying. You know, there's always some other meaning. No, sometimes you just meet people who are just plain assholes. And you just need to kind of learn to live with them and, you know, ignore them and, you know, stay with the people who do like you. You know? And I think this movie does that very, very well. I think the message is undercut just slightly by the fact that, and in the end of the film, they really hunchback it and go with the town just suddenly accepts these fish people. You know, especially since it's a town that seems like their entire mythology has been based on hunting sea monsters, and these literal sea monsters are right in their midst, and they're just like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna like you now. I get why they're doing it, so you can have the happy ending, and also maybe say that, you know, people like our pompous bully villain are the minority and they're not the majority, that the majority of people can be nice and understanding. It's the very vocal minority assholes that you gotta worry about. But still, I feel like the message is undercut just slightly. I also feel, if we're talking in terms of flaws of this film, that, again, this movie works best when it's at its most simplistic, but the inciting incidents and everything are just, they're very stock. And they're stock in a very obvious way. Let me see if this sounds like anything. So I didn't even really describe the plot because I'm late to the party on this one, so I figure everybody's already seen this. But anyway, so Luca is an underwater fish person who yearns to learn. He wants to know more. He wants to go up to the surface and learn about the surface. And of course, his overprotective parent, the mother in this instance, just won't let him, doesn't want him to go anywhere near the surface, wants to keep him safe. She'll do anything to keep him safe. She will send him down into the deepest, darkest part of the ocean to live with his creepy, luminescent uncle, rather than, to keep him safe, an overprotective parent that he runs away from. This sound familiar? And it's not so much that it's recycled plots from both The Little Mermaid and Finding Nemo. It's not even so much that the plots are recycled. It's the fact that, what is it about underwater movies that this has to be the fucking story? Either I want to be where the people are, or don't be so overprotective. It really makes you wonder, why does this keep coming up? Kind of like when you watch the Lego movies, and every single Lego movie is about, somebody having a strained relationship with their father. You're like, who the fuck at Lego has issues with their dad? Because you need to just go to therapy and take care of that, friend. Same thing here. I don't know who at Pixar is dealing with the overprotective parent, or if they are the overprotective parent, but whoever it is needs to go and get that shit taken care of. But I want them to know, I want Pixar to know that that I learned the lessons this movie was trying to teach. I really did. Beck and I, after watching this movie, we sat down with Rivy, the youngest, and we said, Rivy, we're sorry. We have been too overprotective. So we put her in the car, we drove her out to the city, we dropped her off on the street corner and said goodbye. We're letting you go. We're not going to be overprotective anymore. You are free, little bird, to live your dreams. And then we went home. I mean, she keeps calling, asking us to come pick her up, but, we know better. We have learned from Pixar. I'm sure the nice drug dealers that she's been shacking up with will take good care of her. She's smart. She's clever. She'll find her way through. But we are not going to get overprotective. We are just not. That's all jokes, obviously. We didn't do that. Did I really need to say that? Did I really need that? You never know. You never know who's like, oh my God, they really did that. You don't know these days. So yeah. But here's the thing. These are quibbles. These are minor irritations. The inciting incidents and I think not truly committing to the theme does make the film feel a little disjointed when they suddenly try to shoehorn one in. But in the end, that is a minor price to pay. On the whole, I truly enjoyed this movie. And I think, being completely honest, I'm glad I saw this movie when I did. And I'm releasing this review now because one of the things that really appealed to me was it's Italian. It's set in Italy, and it's very steeped in Italian culture. And there's no mobsters, no one's a gangster. There's not even a Godfather joke. And how nice to kind of see yourself, represented, in a positive way. So I really appreciate it. I also got to give a big shout out to, again, the young actors in this film. They must have had a really good dialect coach, because they were speaking Italian and doing the accent and everything very, very well. I had to do a few lines of Italian once in a play, and it was really hard, and I sucked at it. So, but these kids, especially the young lady playing Ginny, was really, she had a lot of Italian dialogue. So I don't know if she is Italian and knows that, or I don't think so. I remember checking her IMDb page. I don't think she is. But regardless, the dialect coach really earned their keep on this one. So I really liked that. And again, I'm very proud that this one, that I saw this and am reviewing it during Italian Heritage Month. Did you know that October was Italian Heritage Month? Of course you didn't. Well, I'm telling you, it is. So I'm very, very proud of this little movie as an Italian. And yeah, I know I'm late to the party. I know everyone's already seen it and everyone's already reviewed it, and they've all, nothing I say is really going to change anything at this point. But, I feel like when when I've misjudged something, or when I see something that kind of proves me wrong, I feel like I should stand up and say, hey, you know, they actually did make something I really liked. So maybe next time there's a Pixar movie, maybe I'll go give it a shot. Who knows? We'll have to see. But anyway, sorry about the glare. That's the problem with doing this during the day, is we get the glare at some point. So sorry about that. So let's wrap this up before the glare gets too much. So final grade for Luca, I'm going a B, solid B on this one. Little disjointed, but overall very enjoyable, and one that I will probably watch again just because it's fun. So I liked it. Good job, Pixar. You've actually made a movie that Brandon liked. So there you have it. All right, so thank you very much for joining me. Sorry again about the glare. I mean, it's a little better when I come this way. So sorry about that. So thank you all for watching, and as always, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.